Hello and welcome to this presentation called How to Change Your Life Through Triathlon. Now, my name is Kat Rich, and my promise here, my name is Kat Rich, and here's my promise to you. If you stay with me, you're going to discover how to finally feel strong, stay consistent, and actually enjoy training well into your 40s, not by forcing yourself to be more disciplined, but by plugging into something that makes it consistency almost automatic. And if you've ever struggled to stay motivated or stopped and started with exercise, what I'm sharing with you today is going to be your missing piece. And if you stay with me to the end, I'll give you an access to the secret that makes it almost impossible to quit. Okay? Even if you've failed before. Now, I want to call out something right away because most people believe that the reason they're not fit is because they don't have enough willpower or they need to cut down on eating this or that. They think, oh, I just need to be stronger or I'll start once I have more time. And this is a big myth. And the truth is that nobody wins by trying to grind it out alone. Motivation fades. Life gets busy, and the secret is community. This is really what makes the big difference. Quick story, just so you know where I'm coming from. Like back in 2007, I had just gotten my first job straight out of, maybe it was 2005. 2005, I had just gotten my first job, and I had moved from where I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, up to Northern Virginia. I was new in town. I was young, maybe like 22 or 23. I thought I was young, fun, but I was also completely lonely because I didn't know anybody outside of the people that I worked with. I had just signed up for my first marathon, so I had a whole team of people down in Richmond, and that's where I was like driving to every weekend to go on long runs. But Monday to Friday, I didn't really have anybody to run with, and so I was either like hanging out at home alone or like trying to find other running groups. And this is 2005 was really before the internet really took it. Like there was internet, but there wasn't social media. Not really social media hadn't hit in a big way. YouTube wasn't there. There weren't very many like online places to really connect with people. And so I don't know how I ended up finding this one group. They were called the Bluemont Runners. One day I mentioned to one of the girls that we were so I found this group called the Bluemont Runners, and there were like 3 or 4 people that would meet twice a week there. And so then the other days I was like, okay, I guess I just hang out at home. I mentioned that, hey, maybe we could all meet together with our bikes one day and go out. And one of the girls, Caroline, said, well, you know what? There is a triathlon training team called Team Z. And that was the one conversation that changed everything. It's like, oh, Team Z, what is this thing? Well, I ended up looking them up, going to an info session and joining. And suddenly, with everybody else there, I wasn't forcing myself to train. I was surrounded by people who just loved the same things that I did. I didn't have to motivate myself anymore. But I didn't really get going with them until after my first marathon. And the Team Z experience, though, after the marathon finished, then I was able to just stay in Northern Virginia. And if you don't know, it's like a 2-hour drive. I ended up many years later, I ended up really just looking for another community like this Team Z. Like with Team Z, I ended up doing an Ironman. I had such good friends there. And so for the next 15 years, I've been looking for a community like Team Z in any other city, and I have not found them. I went over to Syria, I was in Dubai, and now I'm in Florida, still looking for these communities to train with, and I really haven't found exactly what I'm looking for. So I want you to imagine this. If you 6 months from now, you look, or even 10 years from now, you look in the mirror and you see a strong body. You see your slender face. You've crossed a finish line you never thought possible. You've held on to that body that you had when you were in your 20s, in your 30s, before you had kids. And you've got a whole community of friends, not just people that you've worked out with, but friends cheering you on. And you're not just struggling alone, you're plugged into a team, a community that lifts you up and has made and has held you accountable for doing the work and getting there. And all of that is what we're going to talk about today. Okay. Now, this is important. The single biggest reason that people succeed in anything they do, and especially in health and in workouts, is because they're part of a community that won't let them fail. This works, this is it in business, this is it in life, this is it for every endeavor. When you're in the right community, consistency and results don't depend on your mood or your schedule. They become automatic. So first thing I want to share, so there are three things I want to cover today. Number one is that community is the key to staying young and strong. And then we're going to talk about the identity shift that you can do this no matter what your pace or your size. And the third thing is we're going to talk about this that life is never perfect, timing is never perfect. And here's how just you can start now. Okay? So let's talk about number one. That this is community is the key to staying young and strong. Now, I remember when I was training for my first marathon, I had just gotten my job in Northern Virginia, and I was training with a team called the Sports Backers Training Team. So I was working just outside of Washington, D.C. in Fairfax County, and Friday afternoon, or maybe it was, must have been Friday afternoon, I drove down to Richmond and and then I would sleep Friday night, wake up Saturday morning. Maybe it was I was on the Sunday team. Anyway, I don't remember exactly. I don't remember all the details. Anyway, I would drive down on the weekend, either Friday night or Saturday, and then sleep at my parents' house. And then that next morning, I would drive to downtown Richmond to run with the team called the Sports Backers Training Team. And what they did is they had a training plan, and I had joined this marathon training, excuse me, before I had taken this job. So it was sort of like I wanted to finish my commitment there, finish whatever was going on, and then I was able to relocate the rest of my life up to Northern Virginia. So on the weekends I would drive down and I had a crew. They would section us off. Like I think I did on Sunday runs. Must have been. I must have driven home Saturday. Anyway, details not important, but this is like I'm trying to remember. So I was a Sunday runner. And on Sundays, there was like this breadth of people. On Saturdays there was like another group of people. But because yeah. So on Sunday I would go there and there would be different pace groups. And they're like, okay, today we're gonna run 10 miles. Here's the route, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And two people that were on at my same pace was a guy called John and a girl called Carla. And for whatever reason, we just bonded. So it was Kat and Carla and John. And the three of us would just run, run, run all day together. I learned a lot from them from like hydration. Carla had done a bunch of marathons. John was a super athlete. And me, I was training for my first marathon. This is in 2005. So every weekend I would do that, run with John and Carla and drive back up to the Virginia and do whatever Monday to Friday. Next weekend I would drive back down. And when we got to marathon day, John was the fastest of the three of us. Carla was next, and then I was the slowest in the running race, in running pace. So So finally, it was race day, and we all had these singlets. So basically, we all wore the same shirt, so we all could identify each other and cheer for each other. And of course, there's lots of people in this race, like thousands of people. But our team was, I don't know, maybe 100 or 200 people. But with our blue shirts, we looked like a team. We knew that we had all trained together. And one of the things is that they said when you get to the end of the race, you'll hit a wall. And that's when you use your secret weapon. And your secret weapon is your mind, knowing that you can go that far because you've done the training distance. Well, of course, I hit the wall at about mile 20. And that's when I ran in. That's when I saw John and Carla cheering for me. And that's when the other people with the blue singlets were cheering for me. And I knew that because I was part of that team, I needed to keep going. I couldn't stop the race. What was I going to do? DNF? I didn't even know how to do that. So that wasn't even an option. I kept on running, and I had forgotten to use my secret weapon. And so some of the people with the other blue singlets on helped me to remember to use my secret weapon. So I ended up making it to the end. And then I started motivating other people as I was surprisingly passing them. And I was saying, use your secret weapon, use your secret weapon. Here I am, like a 22, 23-year-old, like, use your, talking to whoever much older than me. I'm like, oh, of course you can do it. You're young. Telling them to use their secret weapon. Well, I finished that race just under 5 hours. I think it was 4:52. 4 hours and 52 minutes was my very first marathon. And at the end, the blue singlets, the blue shirts were there cheering for everybody who was wearing, I mean, we're cheering for everybody, but we were there cheering because I felt like I had teammates out there on the course. And a marathon is a pretty tough race. You want to have people out there cheering for you. And so this is really what a community does. They help you feel like you are a part of something. It keeps you like feeling like you're part of the tribe, that you can't let them down because you got your, team colors on, you got your blue singlet on. And so when I joined that team, I was just a lonely runner looking for a little bit of structure. Like I had no idea what I was getting into running this marathon. But once I was part of that training team, I started actually looking forward to hanging out with John and Carla. Why? Because it wasn't just about me, it was about the people around me. And so the truth is that when you've got people that you've bonded with and you've trained, if you've trained with them, you bond with them. And that really is the secret to getting to where you want to go. Because when you guys are all going there together, there's some sort of like camaraderie that takes over and gets you there. So can you see how a community is powerful and can be the key to keeping you coming back? I mean, why else would I drive from Northern Virginia, like a 2 hour drive every weekend down there just to do a training run and then drive back up? All right, so let's talk about number two, the identity shift, that you can do this no matter your pace or your size. Okay, most people think, oh, I'm too slow. I could never run a marathon. That's too long. Or I could never ride. I'm too overweight, or I'm too old, or I'm not strong enough, or I've never done it before, or, all of these excuses and things are exactly what I thought. Before my first triathlon, and before my first triathlon, I didn't even have a bike. I didn't even own a road bike. I actually had to borrow one. But before I ever did a full triathlon, like all three sports, I was part of the swim on a relay. And I was scared to do like more than one sport at a time. So I just joined in and just was the swimmer on a relay race. And I had such a good time being part of a team. I mean, I was a fairly good swimmer, so I did the swim. And then when I got out, the biker took off and did that. And then when the biker got back, the runner went out and came back. And we actually ended up because I was one girl and it was two guys, we ended up doing really well. We came in first place for the relay race, and I was hooked. I was hooked on the winning, the podium of it all. So I wanted to figure this out. I wanted to figure this out. And here's the good news, though, is that even though I didn't have a bike, even though I didn't know what I was doing, when I did sign up for my first triathlon, which was called Iron Girl, it was a sprint triathlon. So it was quite short now that I look back on it. I don't remember what the swim was or what the bike was, but I remember the run was 5K, 3 miles, and it was the longest, the toughest 3 miles I had ever run. I was so slow. It was hard to run. And Um, so I had borrowed a bike for this. Of course, I was pretty comfortable swimming just because I had grown up next to a lake, and so I was always going out and swimming. Um, I knew I was going to be slow on the bike because I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I was going to be slow on the bike. Um, by the time I got to the run, my legs felt like tree trunks. And yeah, again, that was the hardest 5K of my life. And I started questioning whether I really wanted to do a triathlon again. But the thing is that once I started expressing this stuff to the other people on the team, they're like, oh, yeah, yep, that's what it feels like. You just practice it and and it doesn't feel as bad. Oh, I didn't know that. So apparently, there's a specific workout that you can do to make your legs not feel as tree trunky when you get to the run portion. And so what I learned is that you don't have to be fast. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up and do it, get the experience, and then improve on the experience. Especially when something goes wrong, like wanting to quit because you think that the 5K is the longest race of your life. Running a 5K after a bike ride is the longest race of your life. Um, yeah, the next triathlon I did, I was the last biker on the course. The last one. So again, it does not matter where you are in the spread of it. What matters is that you're just showing up, you're doing it because you're not in it for anybody else other than you. You laugh, you learn, you cross the finish line, you cheer for each other. The community gets you there. The community gives you the emotional support because that secret weapon is your mind, is your community, is your accountability, like self-imposed accountability to the community to f to finish the race and show up for yourself. It's the accountability to show up for yourself. Okay, number three. This is the timing, that there is never a perfect moment to start doing something new. Like life is always going to be on you, give throwing up distractions, throwing up interruptions, throwing up lack of motivation. You catch a cold, you get sick. Like there's always something that's gonna go on. A lot of people say, I'll start once I'm in shape. I'll start once I buy a bike, once I've got more time, once my kids go back to school, like all of these different things. But honestly, the day that you're ready never comes because you'll never be ready until it's too late. And by the time you get ready, the opportunity has passed. And when I started, I didn't even have the gear. I didn't have a bike. I didn't even have the knowledge. I didn't have confidence. Like when my first triathlon, really, I was only like I just did the swim and then stopped. So what I was like 15 minutes. And then I was like, that's all I could commit to at the very beginning. But I started anyway. The community will fill in the gaps for you. You don't need to be ready, you just need to start. Start doing it. And consistency, they did like they talked to who was the coach for the Biggest Loser contestants? I can't remember her name. Kelly, Heather. Anyway, the Biggest Loser contestants, they said they asked her what was the main difference between the people who lost and kept off the weight as opposed to people who just lost the weight quickly and won the thing. And the biggest difference is just the consistency. As boring as that sounds, it's the consistency. So, like, how can you structure it just to have consistency and be normal? Like, make that be a normal part of your day or your week to either go work out or meet up with friends. So, let me ask you a question. Do you think if you knew how to stay strong and consistent with the right community, you could do this? Do you think that if you knew you could succeed, even as a beginner or a back of the pack athlete, that you could do this? Do you think that if you started right now, like even if you don't have all the equipment, you could do this? Yeah, and you can. You can. And this is exactly why I created Healthy Triathlon. It's a community I've been dreaming about since 2009 when I was a part of Team Z. And Team Z was the triathlon community that took me in under their wing and I they trained me up for an Ironman. I completed it, followed their training process for it as well. Because in a moment, I'm going to show you how to join us inside of Healthy Triathlon. But first, I want you to really sit with this because the only thing that's standing in your way between you and your next finish line is your community. And once you have it, everything changes. You become the different person. You take on that new identity. So when you go to a new browser window and you go to healthytriathlon.com, it's going to give you a, you're going to see this page right here, and you are going to join the group. But in order to join the group, you sign up with your name, your last name, email, choose a password, and then sign up and join us in here. And you're going to be able to find lots of people doing this same thing. Because what you get inside of Healthy Triathlon is a community that feels like a real team. We've got a lot of experienced triathletes in there, athletes, runners. There's a lot of connection and accountability, and there's a map feature in there where you can see where everybody is located and then see who's close to you, meet up with them. We have group workouts and training schedules that anyone can follow. We have support across swim, biking, and running, and you definitely don't need to know it all. Gear we've got gear recommendations. You have a place to ask questions, share wins, find training buddies. This group is for anybody who wants to do triathlon, but it is focused on people like me, women who maybe or maybe not have had athletics in their life before, women over 40. And just so you know, at the time of this, it's August 2025. I am 43 years old. Okay? And if all of this did was to actually give you the consistency to show up for yourself, would it be worth it? If all of this did was to help you finally stop feeling like you're behind in life, would it be worth it? And if all this did was to connect you with lifelong friends while getting in shape, would it be worth it? Okay, so open up a new browser window, go to www.healthytriathlon.com. And again, you're going to find a lot. You're going to find some training plans. I've got a girl who's got a bunch of Ironman training plans, but I'm mostly familiar with the less than Ironman training plans. I could get you some of those. I also cover how to work smarter and not harder, especially when you're not in top shape. Okay. What to look for when you preview a race course, really, and I've got one coming up that I'm gonna be showing you, and how to choose a race that is best for you, your skill set, your current ability. Okay. We're gonna cover the gear that you're using, that I'm using, because I actually need to update a lot of my gear. Reviews on it, what other people think about it. I'll share any discount codes and stuff like that that I've got. All types of gearing. One thing I do want to do is when the next year when Tour de France comes back on is to have like a discussion about it or like a watch party or something like that. Because it's all about bikes and I love bikes. We'll talk about running gear, shoes, hydration, and sports bras for the ladies. Sports nutrition, race nutrition, daily, oh, like daily food. Some weight loss stuff. I am vegetarian, so we'll talk about vegan slash vegetarian. I will not be covering anything keto or meat related, and also anything else we can geek out over. We'll just start a thread for that. Now, right now, this thing is not a paid community. There's nothing paid about it, but eventually it will be. I haven't really figured out what the business side of this is, so grab this now. And so grab this now and join us. Join us. There is a lot of community talk. Oh wow, you can see all of this. Should make more of this private. Look at that, you can see everything in there. Let's see if you can see classroom. Oh, you can even see the classroom. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I'm gonna make this a little bit more private so you get to see what's going on inside. So right now we have 5 members. We are got a couple of single moms. Look at this. We have a mom here. Oh, not a single mom, but we got moms. So I know Stephanie is not. Sinead's a mom. Yeah. So this is what it looks like, and I've been putting up posts right there. So go in and introduce yourself. This is a brand new group. Eventually, again, it'll be monetized. There'll be some ways to like some really cool features that you're gonna want to buy in there. But right now, it's all free. So jump in while you can. Okay. See you guys in there. Bye.